Welcome to the Raw Food Health Empowerment Podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Salmon, certified holistic health coach and author of You Can Afford to Be Healthy. And this podcast looks at a holistic approach to health from a multi-generational and multinational perspective of women of color. So on the blog this week, we're talking about the chemicals that cause weight loss resistance and hormonal imbalance. A couple weeks ago, we talked about how hormonal imbalance could be the cause for weight loss resistance. And we didn't really dig into the chemicals that contribute to both. And I feel like this really deserves more time because we've talked a lot about food and there's a lot of talk about food, but these companies are really getting away with murder when it comes to chemicals, specifically endocrine disrupting chemicals, right? Because a lot of people are not aware that they're in the makeup, in the detergents that we're using to clean our clothes and linens. They're in household cleaning products, in the containers that people are using for food, especially if you go out to eat. A lot of these styrofoam containers and things of that nature. And of course, plastics. All of these chemicals, not only are they obesogenic, which works against weight loss, but the plastics and some of these other things that I just listed, they have BPA, which is bisphenol A, parabens, phthalates, PCBs. All of these are chemicals that negatively impact the thyroid, reproductive system, and brain function. So we want to make sure to not only clean up our diets and our bodies and pay attention to the materials of the cooking utensils that we're using and the dishes we're storing foods in, but we want to make sure to also eliminate chemicals from all these different areas in which they could be impacting our life. And I know as much as possible, because in some situations it's unavoidable, right? Like, for example, you worked in hair care. So I know in the salons, if you're doing hair, if you're doing nails, sometimes it's unavoidable, some of these chemicals, unless you specifically set up your shop to be that type of shop that's not using chemicals.
Was not like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I know there's one shop in particular that I did go to, Siobhan in Chicago, who she was all natural hair that she was doing. So no like perms and things. She wasn't doing any of that. So it definitely mitigated the amount of chemicals and off gassing that I was experiencing as a customer in her shop. But she's the only person that I have seen doing that. And I'm sure there are others. I just haven't come across them, but I'm sure there are others because there's a whole wave of naturalistas, Um, and I know a lot of Black women in particular are doing their own hair, especially now because of quarantine and everything. But I feel like going forward, people are going to be going back into the salons and things like that. And this is a great business idea, for all the hairstylists out there and the barbers, because barbers are not exempt from this. They affect men as well. And men are using a lot of these chemicals too, because they're doing basically the same kinds of techniques that the women are using with the lace front wigs and different sprays and things that they're using on their hair. So wait, do the men call it lace front?
No, no.
What do they call it?
They don't, I have no knowledge of what they call it. I just know that they use glue and glue it down on there. Theirs is a complete glue
Mm.
from the back to the front. The women only have the lace around the hairline.
The hairline, which we're gonna get into. We're gonna get into the hairline and the hair conversation too. But definitely check out the blog. There's more information on there in terms of like to do a full like rundown of understanding some of the chemicals that could be affecting your hormonal balance, which would affect your weight loss goals, right? On top of that, we want to make sure to eat organic as much as possible, because if you're eating GMO foods, that's also going to affect. If you're eating organic, you're going to automatically avoid GMOs because the USDA organic certification does not allow for GMO foods. So, And with all of this, if you want to get on board with this healthy lifestyle, you definitely want to join the self-care salon, because this is where you're going to be having access to a whole bunch of information that's going to set up these healthy habits for you to detox your body on a regular basis. Because like we were saying, if you work in, a situation where you have chemicals and there's really nothing you can do to change it, there is the body has self-healing mechanism, right? But we're either supporting it or we're working against it. And
Right.
self-care in the self-care salon, we run through all the habits you need to have in order to have your body regularly detoxing for you, right? So instead of these chemicals working against you and you supporting that, and then leading to all these issues later, you can actually try to overcome it and mitigate those issues. In terms of like the food choices, right? So there's certain foods that we need to be eating within this. And I know one of the questions that I've gotten from our Facebook group is, how do you make your food choices not feel limited? So I wanted to ask you, Mom, because you're on this clean eating lifestyle. How do you make it work so you don't feel limited with your food choices?
That you don't feel limited of what you can eat or the choices. You have to have a plan though. You have to have a plan, then you have to make a list of the things that you need. So it give you, when you make a listing of all the things you need, to give you choices. You don't have to get up every day and eat the same thing, because once you have a plan, you don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me personally, like, I'm so busy, I don't really need that much variety. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not trying to spend too much time on food. Like for me, like I feel like food is to nourish the body. Like clothes is to clothe the body, right? I don't spend too much time on clothes. I have a system. So my closet, I pick out from the recent, and when I'm done with it, it goes from, so I take from the right and it goes to the left, right? And then I go like that. So it's in rotation. So I'm not wearing the same thing every day, but I'm not thinking about, oh, what am I gonna wear today? Do I feel like pink? Do I feel like red? Do I feel like green? Like that's a waste of time because
I think you're not a moody person. People who are moody, they have to go by
but
coloring.
my moods don't so like I'm a Scorpio, okay? I'm a Scorpio. I definitely have moods, but I'm not going to waste time with things that don't matter, right? My body can't be naked out on these streets. So I'm just going to throw some clothes on, right? And so everything in my closet has already been approved, or else it wouldn't be in my closet. So it's on rotation. When it comes to my food, it's the same thing. It's basic. I need fruits in the house, vegetables, and some kind of maybe protein or whatever. For that's like my variety, because honestly, the fruits and the vegetables are the basics. So the proteins would be like, typically I would have like lentils. Recently, what have been having, oh, quinoa I've been having recently, so that's been like my protein. And I just basically rotate. I go in the store. If I had Swiss chard before, or kale before, what's next to kale? Going to the right, going from left to right. Oh, romaine. Okay, I'm doing romaine this week. What do I like with romaine? You know what I'm saying? And so
Oh,
it's not, because I know I'm gonna leave with what? Fruit and vegetables and a protein. And that's it, And I also
oh,
have my staples, almond butter, banana, you need those.
know what we call that in you know what I call that in here?
What?
Ba- Basic food. Yep.
Yeah. It
And you
don't
were,
have to be complicated. Now,
yeah,
if
you,
you're early on this journey and you're trying all this different stuff, then take a look at the meal plans on the website, and then you can try and have fun with that or whatever.
yeah,
But ultimately you want to get to a place of like what I consider clean, healthy eating that's sustainable. And it's sustainable because food doesn't take over your whole life. We
I see.
literally only have, if you're sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night, which is what we should be doing, then that only leaves what, 16 hours left in the day to shower and take care of ourselves
Yeah.
and actually achieve our goals. So why waste that time thinking, what should I eat today? It's not.
No, because it's so much, you have so much more needs other than food, though. You have your spiritual need, you have your physical need, you have your mental need, your emotional need, and all those things have to be taken care of. So you got to really prioritize what's important to you. And those are the four basic needs.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yes.
mean, because we all have goals, we all have a focus area, and there are many different things to this healthy lifestyle, right? So the food is the foundation, and it doesn't need to be hard.
No, it shouldn't be hard because that's on the list. You cannot live without food.
And then exercise needs to be done daily. So if you're doing exercise on a daily basis,
But that's your physical need.
right,
Yeah.
then you don't want to overthink the food part. You know what I'm saying? Because that's already energy. When we overthink, we get into decision fatigue. And that's why honestly, join Self-Care Salon, because you don't have to think about it at all the meal plans are there, all the recipes are there, the shopping list is there. Just go to the grocery store, pick it up, and be out. Like, I only spend like 15 minutes in the grocery store. I am
Well,
in and
I have
out.
a question to make. I am an overthinker. I'll be exercising and thinking, oh, what am I gonna eat? You're
that's
thinking about,
called that's called not being in the present moment.
well, I get that way a lot of times, especially when I'm exercising. But there's another time I get on a height and I said, oh no, I'm not thinking about your food because you're the one who brought me right here. I mean, Sam, in life you have to be humorous about these things because you can't take it too seriously.
Yeah,
It's a serious situation because the exercise is a must. You got
it's
to
a
keep
must.
you got to keep moving because the only part, you got to keep moving because if you don't keep moving, you're looked upon as being sick, physically ill. So if you're not physically ill, keep moving that your body parts can work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So someone had asked, they're trying to lose weight and get rid of body fat, and I'm gonna tell you, Self-Care Salon, that's the place to be. That's where you build the habits to make those things happen. So, what do you do to make sure you get all your body needs? Like, I know some folks are concerned that maybe they're lacking in certain nutritional components all of a sudden now because they're eating clean.
Yeah.
How do
Because
you make sure you get all of what your body needs?
well, I go by the food pyramid in the vegetarian style.
Which is, what does that look like for you?
So my proteins, my fat, my my vegetable, my fruits, you know.
Yeah, I think rotating, and this is basically just like I explained with my closet, rotating my clothes, rotating my foods. So the fruits, I'm not having the same fruits all the time. I'm rotating. I'm not having the same greens or vegetables all the time. I'm rotating. And so, and I don't have to think about it because I basically go to the store, I look what's next, on the shelf. What do they have? Because typically in the stores, in the supermarkets, if you have your regular stores that you go to, they have the kale in the same place all the time. They have the collard greens in the same place all the time. So, and you could kind of figure it out. Oh, I had, the past 3 days I had collard greens, and now I'm gonna go do some romaine or whatever. And you switch it up and eat from the rainbow. We're gonna actually talk about too, like how you get a variety.
Okay,
Because
before you move on to that, let me just say something. I have a book that called Food That Heals. And if you feel like your body, because your body can tell you what you lack, because you feel like you're missing out on something. I usually go into the book and look and see the type of food and what it's good for, and see how long I've had this specific type of food. So
mhm,
that book helped me. I don't know how much people have books like that, but I have books that are called Plants That Heal and Food That Heal. and I'll go and see the kind of food I haven't had in a while.
So some folks were interested in what would be good for hair growth and thinning areas, and I will post a link in the show notes. There's a really good article on Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine regarding a link between baldness and colorectal cancer, and ultimately, what causes cancer, right? Is the chemicals we talked about and an improper diet and lifestyle, which we cover all of that in SelfCare Salon. So if you're interested in, healthy, thick hair, and Ma, you have your hair covered up today. Last time we recorded together, you were
You want me?
showing off that hairline. Yeah, look at that hairline. See, and you're in your, are you okay with sharing your age?
Oh no, I don't care. I cut my hair down. No, no, no. I'm gonna be 69 in September.
Right. And look at that hairline. It's so thick. I was telling you last time, it's so thick that it looks like a lace front wig. And then you
Yeah,
started tugging on the hair. And you're like, nah, this ain't no lace
yeah.
front.
My hair, see?
Yeah. So talk about that. Like, what advice do you have for folks who are they're concerned their hair is thinning? Like, what have you done to make sure that at almost 70 you have such a thick, healthy hairline?
Good question. The answer is right here. Number one, you have to start that from you're very young. I always tell mothers of young children, do not give your children styles. I grew up in the West Indies. We don't know about style. We get our hair plait. I used to get my hair plait in four or three, one on top and two in the back. And we used to wear ribbons. We used to put stuff in our hair to make it look pretty as little girls. We don't use to all this pulling the hair back and all that because little babies don't need their hair pulled back. They are so beautiful. They have youth in them. Older women do the pull back because, of course, yeah, we start getting wrinkles, we start getting droopy, and we want to look young. So we pull back. Kids don't need that. And what happened to people when they put strain on the hair, it kills the hair follicle.
Mm.
So just like, for instance, there's somebody fighting and they grab it here and they pull it out. And when you look at it, you see all that white stuff. They pull the complete root of your hair out. Sometimes the hair is in a shock. If the scalp go into a shock, so the hair don't grow back.
Hmm.
That's why cutting your hair makes your hair grow thick. That's another thing to thick hair. And it's something that you have to do from your young. Continue trimming the ends. Don't leave ends hanging because that pulls the hair out. If you have one knot and one piece of hair, you don't trim that end, it pulls the straw and the hair out. Trimming is important, cutting is important to thick hair, and don't put no strain on the hairline. I personally wouldn't wear braid. I never get my hair professionally braided, but I had my hair cornrow one time in my life when I was giving birth to my son, and that was the last time. I can't do nothing tight on my head because it pulls the hair out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Train pull the hair out. So I would advise people not to do that.
Yeah, so there you have it. Plus, you have the evidence to show that's what it looked like after
Look
decades
at
of
it.
taking care of it.
Look at it.
Yeah, great. It looks
'Cause
beautiful.
you thought, and I cut it down to it's very short.
Yeah. And so like mitigating the amount of manipulation and tugging and pulling, especially from a young age, and then also getting your hormones in balance, working on those nutritional deficiencies by actually eating a full scope of fruits and vegetables, like we talked about, nuts, seeds, legumes, all those things. And so I wanted to run through some top foods for healthy hair. Omega-3 fatty acids, important, right? And of course, you don't need fish. You don't want fish for that. You want to go to walnuts for that. You want to go to some of these seeds. And I have a link. I did a whole article. We did a whole episode, I think, on this. So
Mhm.
that's going to be in the show notes. You also want iron rich foods, which I did a whole episode, a video on this, like an animated video. It's been pretty popular on YouTube. People are still discovering it. You want iron rich foods, things like burdock root, broccoli, And you can get the whole full list on that. That will be in the show notes. You were talking about your proteins, right? And we want
Mm,
to focus on clean protein, because when you have a lot of saturated fat or you're insulin resistant, that could actually lead to baldness and
right.
thinning of the hair. So you want clean protein, which would be your nuts, your seeds, your beans, your lentils, your moringa, which is high in protein, things like that. Cinnamon, which is great for circulation, is also good. Biotin rich foods, right? Everyone keeps talking about biotin, but instead of taking a pill, I prefer to eat. I don't know about you, but I prefer food over pills, right? And
Me too.
so, yeah, you could get your biotin from sunflower seeds, sweet potatoes, almonds, broccoli, bananas, and apples, right? Then you want zinc rich foods, which you get from pumpkin seeds, cashews, chickpeas, almonds, kidney beans, and peas. And you can get all these just by rotating,
Maybe that's why my hairline is like this. So, and basically, those are the things I eat. Those are my natural food and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. That's how you get a healthy body, a healthy head of hair, and for a lifetime, because that's what this is. Not a diet, it's a lifestyle,
Right.
right?
You eat well and you take care of it well. As I said, you eat well, but don't damage what you get from eating well by pulling out your hair. People put too much strain on their hair, so they
Mhm.
pull it out. Get good product and use in your hair that it don't get tangled. They have good products out there, natural good product too. Your avocado that's gone too bad for you to eat, mix it up with banana and put it on your hair. That's a good mask for the hair.
So how are you doing that? You just like after a shampoo or after a conditioner? How are you doing that?
No, you use it as a conditioner.
Mm.
After you shampoo, you put that on your hair and then you rinse it out.
So you just mix up one avocado and one banana and just
Well,
slather
it depends
it.
the amount of avocado that go bad. Let's say you have a half avocado. You put a half avocado, half a banana, and you mix it up. You can that can be mixed with your hand, and you
Hmm.
put olive oil or some kind of oil in it or coconut oil. And because what happened with the oil, it helps hold that together, and you massage it in here. You cover it with a plastic cap, and you keep it on here for about 20 minutes, and that's a good treatment. If
And
you if you
that wash down the drain fine without clogging up the drains?
no, they go down the drain fine
Hmm.
because you blend it. You can blend it or mash it. When you mash banana, it become liquefied. Almost liquefied. The same thing with avocado. It's very smooth. And you mix it up with a spoon with the oil, and then you put it on the hair and you treat the hair with it. And it
Yeah.
comes out very. Look, when you buy conditioner in the store, what they tell you is avocado, and there are other stuff they put in there. Sometimes it's just sometimes it's not even avocado. It's just avocado. Something look like avocado. You're
Like
not
an
sure, but
extract or something.
when you do it at home, you're doing the real stuff.
Hmm.
So you don't waste the stuff. Like if you see avocado look like it gone bad, it turned dark. It's good for your hair.
Yeah.
Put it
I would imagine avocado, and you would only do a treatment like that, like what, once a month or
once
something?
a month, once a month, because
Which seems cheaper than
you
conditioner.
shouldn't have you shouldn't have your avocado that it goes so bad that you do it more than once a month. The avocado that goes bad, you put it in the fridge if you cannot use it right away, the refrigerator, that it stays, okay,
Hmm.
give it the balance there. And then you use it on your hair.